Oh no. He said it's over. Batista, and he still did it. Whoa!
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. Given the fact that professional wrestlers have to spend copious amounts of time with one another and wrestlers can range everywhere from apple pie pleasantry to apple on a top hat, it should come as no surprise that for every bond tighter than a college schedule, there's a hatred burning hotter than the girls at the frat house. I'm D Wicker from Watch WWE, and here are 5 wrestlers who are good friends and 5 who very much do not get along. Number 10, CM Punk and Kofi Kingston. With the return of Charlie's mangled Punk, as well as Kofi with a championship around his waist, why Brock, why? Let's give a shout out to the most forgettably awesome combination in WWE history. CM Punk is, in one word, outspoken? Maybe? He'll give you his opinion 11 out of 10 times, but it usually seems like he reciprocates how he's treated to people. This is probably the best explanation I can give for the friendship between him and Kofi, because as we should all already know, Kofi Kingston is an absolute stand-up gentleman, one of the greatest people probably alive. Probably the most similar wrestler to real-life example on the roster today. The absolute sweetheart has been close with the straight-edge savior for forever now, even before their 2009 World Tag Team Championship run.
Team champions, Kofi Kingston and CM Punk!
Can you believe it?
Number 9, CM Punk and Colt Cabana. Unfortunately, like Semi alluded to, Punk doesn't always get along with people just the best. Him and Colt Cabana actually were like best friends for quite a long time, meeting way back during their Ring of Honor days and staying close despite Punk signing to WWE. Yeah, remember this part of the pipe bomb? Yeah, the dudes were close, but very unfortunately, Wu-Tang has never been as right as cash rules everything around me. After some disputes over podcasting and verbal agreements and a whole bunch of legal mumbo-jumbo nonsense, the two entered into a year-long Mexican lawsuit standoff, with each firing a legal shot at one another. As of late September this year, they seem to have settled out of court, but I really doubt that means the scalding water between them's turned lukewarm.
Match we have here, CM Punk versus Colt Cabana, and what a history behind this one.
Well, the winner of this match will get the ROH contract.
Number 8, AJ Lee and Big E. Well, we've talked about Punk twice now, why the hell not throw his lovely lady into the mix? AJ, crazy as my superpower Lee, might have gotten mixed up with her lifetime partner starting in 2012, but the same year also kickstarted a lifelong friendship in the biggest of ease imaginable, so big he even had a last name back then. These two just make sense on a personality level. Watch any clip of them together and it just clicks. AJ Lee once tweeted out a picture of her pet dog and Big E next to each other with a caption, "My 2 sons, both birthed from my wrestling womb." Isn't that just the most Big E thing you've ever heard? Friendship made in heaven, and it all started with Big E nearly caving the poor girl's chest in.
What a fantastic effort by Team Hell No. Yep, come out on top in that match was absolutely amazing. Look at this Big E length.
Number 7, Maryse and Nikki Bella. While Maryse might have eventually found her way back to WWE through her husband in 2016, things weren't always as such. After leaving the company early on in her career, she attempted a return in 2012 to 2013 that was supposedly squandered by Nikki Bella. The bolder of Bellas was busy enjoying her time atop the division of divas. Yeah, AJ Lee was giving her a run for her money, but AJ was a professional wrestler. Nikki was a diva. Maryse was from that yesteryear generation and actually gave Nikki a run for her money as the potential diva of the company, so she used her backstage pull to sabotage Maryse's return, giving the pair bad blood for years to come.
Oh, and she's taking exception by using a pipe to attack Nikki Bella again. No disqualification.
Number 6, Paige and Lana. Alright, we talked about some more wrestlers who didn't like each other not that long ago on the channel, and this entry is pretty much here just to make a post-revelation correction. On the WWE backstage that also gave us the return of chimpanzees mating Punk, we learned that Paige does in fact love Lana dearly. It was a total and complete throwaway line by Paige that probably meant absolutely nothing to absolutely anyone besides me, because of course I literally just mentioned Paige and Lana hating each other back in 2016. While the pair had some reported disputes backstage and plenty of tweets shading each other like 3 years ago, seems like they've made amends and are closer now. Good for them. Forgiveness is a virtue, and so is subscribing to watch WWE.
Sorry for being a brat.
No, I'm sorry too. I'm gonna hug you because
Sorry.
Me too. I don't want this to be like a big argument. I really want to try.
Number 5, John Cena and Batista. Alright, take your guesses. Which is it? Are John Cena and Batista A, good friends, or B, are they bitter enemies? The answer is probably pretty obvious for people who pick up on patterns. Holy While John hasn't exactly made comments the other way around, Batista has been very outspoken about a lot of things WWE. From the fact he got fined for blading in 2008, to the lack of real men and reality in the business today, almost everything Batista hates about the company found its way back to this PG era that he decided to leave behind after just a couple years. And at center stage of the PG era is Johnny Boy Cena, the representation of what Batista came to hate. He's especially talked out about that acting career of his. He's claimed to get a lot of comparisons to The Rock and John Cena, a lot for leaving wrestling for acting, scoffing at that, saying he never tried juggling both and was a wrestler, then stopped, and then an actual actor who went for actual good roles, not Bumblebee. He'd go on to spout his immense respect for The Rock, and unsurprisingly, left Cena out of said celebration.
Oh no. Win! He's done it! It's over! Batista out! And he still did it!
Number 4, Batista and Titus O'Neil. And speaking of Batista speaking out about things, you remember when Titus O'Neil almost got fired for grabbing Vince McMahon's arm? If you remember, Titus was just trying to convey to Vince that he ought to let Stephanie walk ahead of him, again, proving that Titus is probably the best person alive, if not Kofi Kingston. Vince responded by trying to fire Titus O'Neil shortly after he had won Dad of the Year in the month of Black History. Thankfully, Titus only ended up with a 90-day suspension, but again, imagine the mental state of a company's owner when I'm sitting here saying, thankfully, a dude only got suspended for 3 months for grabbing an arm. Dave was very outspoken over this, citing not just the bullshit that was this situation, but also how underutilized Titus had been beforehand and how after that incident, he really needs to get the hell out of here. I'm gonna have to, agree.
He could make more money doing a million other things. And Titus is a talented dude, educated dude. He doesn't need to be there. He's there because he loves it. So.
Number 3, Taz and RVD. Rob Van Dam is the coolest wrestler alive today. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care. And it's not just today either. He's been that way for at least 25 years in this business, as proved by the legendary Pick a Hand. Basically, Taz was being booked as the top dog in ECW and started truly believing into his own hype. As he was something of a shoot-fight styled wrestler, he apparently swaggered around the locker rooms as if he owned the joint. Unfortunately for Taz, no one owns a joint quite like 420 Van Dam, and after Taz took issue with Rob post-November to Remember 1998, RVD told Taz to pick a hand. Rob then slapped Taz across the face twice with it, with Taz doing nothing in retaliation. Taz's hard man reputation was forever blown, and the two would never make proper amends.
Would have been told to pick a hand. If you don't know the story, when Rob confronted Taz, he told him to pick a hand before he hit him with it.
Number 2, Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin. Brock and friendship. Name a more ironic duo. Of course, people tend to assume Brock to be the money business bashing, only there for a paycheck worker who doesn't respect the locker room, but the truth couldn't be any further. Well, it could be. He's not the same, outgoing Andrade making good with everyone behind the scenes, but Brock does respect good workers and will make an attempt to do good work with them. And this isn't a new trend. It started all the way back before he even made it to the main roster. That's right. Imagine a developmental Brock Lesnar, because that was OVW, my friends, and way back when that was Brock's home, circa 2001, he and Shelton Benjamin were the top tag team of the division. And they remain friends till this day. You remember when Paul Heyman sent Shelton off on Seth Rollins during the Lesnar feud? Yeah, it went absolutely nowhere, but the idea was supposed to be people remembering Shelton and Brock's partnership.
Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin, the Minnesota Stretching Crew, have defeated a top tag team here with Conway and Black.
And number 1, JBL and the Blue Meanie. And just for some fun in the main event spot of the video, why not take us all the way back to ECW One Night Stand, the same show that gave us the legendary Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays burn from Heyman to JBL, JBL's drunken shenanigans of throwing beer at the crowd and yelling at wrestlers, and the Blue Meanie turning red at the hands of JBL. Wow, not a great night overall for old Bradshaw. Basically, Blue Meanie had made some comments online about JBL, and since Meanie could not just hide behind a screen and actually had an encounter with him coming up in the ring during the pay-per-view's big brawl, Meanie actually ended up having to fight JBL for real, and wow, he really did not win.
The only reason you were WWE champion for a year is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesday.
And those are 5 wrestlers who are friends, 5 wrestlers who are enemies, and 10 reasons to subscribe to watch WWE. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below after liking the video, subscribing to that channel, notifications in the bell. Oh man, have I forgotten my own intro or outro? What's happening?